Hi, this is Josh Marshall from TPM. This is the setup for Monday, June 4th, 2012. And today we're talking about the Massachusetts Senate race and why polls matter even months away from Election Day. For a month now, the news out of the Massachusetts Senate race is centered on Elizabeth Warren's purported Cherokee heritage. She thought or said that she was 1/32nd Cherokee, and this has come up at various points in her legal academic career going back more than a decade. Now, it turns out that Warren has, at best, no documentation of any of this being true. And it's been an ongoing embarrassment now for her in the campaign for weeks. In fact, last week, a top pundit wrote a piece saying that that week was the worst of the campaign so far for Elizabeth Warren. Now, with all this going on, you think that things are going disastrously for Elizabeth Warren. But in fact, if you look at the polls, it's not at all clear that that's true. If you look here at the poll tracker average, Scott Brown is a couple of tenths of a percentage point ahead of her. And if you go back weeks, even months, it's been there pretty much consistently at right that number. You can see a similar picture here if you look at her personal favorability. On balance, her net favorability simply has not changed much at all in the face of all this news. Recent polls have also looked specifically at this Cherokee question. And again, voters simply don't seem to care, even though there's ample evidence that everybody in Massachusetts has heard about the story. So what's really going on in this race? It's what we thought and really knew would go on for months. And that is, even though Scott Brown's politics are not completely in step with fairly liberal Massachusetts electorate, he remains personally very popular. But the other issue is that President Obama is way ahead of Mitt Romney in the presidential horse race. And what that tells you is that as long as Scott Brown is dead even in this race, the Democrats have such a huge advantage at the top of the ticket that going in dead even is not a safe place at all. He needs a margin of a few points to really be assured of victory on Election Day. You know, polls are a bit like a pilot's instrument panel when he or she is flying in stormy weather. You get a lot of unclear information. You don't really know kind of where you are, so you have to keep looking at the instrument panel. And in a case like this, it seems like very dramatic things are happening in this race, but if you just look at the poll numbers, you can see it hasn't had a lot of effect. And this race is pretty much where it was a month ago, 2 months ago, even 3 months ago. I'm Josh Marshall from TPM, and we'll talk to you next week.